Welcome to Spotlight. I'm Terry Harrington, and I'll be speaking with Port Huron Police Community Service Officer Sam Baker. Today's show is sponsored by Semco Energy Gas Company. Well, Officer Baker, welcome to Spotlight.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I know you've got a big event coming up this weekend on Saturday. Tell us about that.
Yes. So this is the fifth year we've done this. This is our annual Special Needs and Autism Acceptance Day. And kind of what this is, a little bit of a backstory, if you will. About 5 years ago, if not a little bit more, nationally there was this uptick in first responders having contact with people that were special needs and or autistic or on the spectrum. And some of those interactions did not go well in regards to the outcome. Lack of training, lack of awareness, kind of a lot goes into that. And we saw those kind of nationally happening, and then we started having more contact here locally in our community with people who are special needs. And now we didn't have any of those quote-unquote horror stories or things go bad here. And because of that, we realized we need to get ahead of this because we don't want to be in one of those situations where the outcome wasn't great. So what we did is we brought in experts, we brought in people who know these disorders and can teach us and help us become aware of what signs and symptoms look like. But not only that, how can we get as much information before we get to a scene in the event of an emergency? So Sergeant Hunger and Records Clerk Jessica Proctor, who work at the police department about 5 years, kind of created this and basically started a registration where if you have somebody or yourself that's special needs and or autistic, you could fill out a simple form with the police department that gives us information about the condition, any triggers, any things that would help the response, anything that would hurt the response. So God forbid your loved one needs medical assistance or something's going on in the home where there is law enforcement contact. We are notified before we get there that your loved one may be, let's say, nonverbal. So one of the things that, that we deem as quote unquote normal behavior is if we were to start talking with somebody inside of a home and they're not responding to us, that's not normal behavior. Well, maybe it's because they're nonverbal, right? So we don't just want to assume they're being defiant. So what this does is it gives us as much information before we get there. So not only police, but fire EMS, we can have a tailored approach to that person's crisis, emergency, whatever it may be. So really a fantastic program. That again, we started 5 years ago. We have about 100 people just here in Port Huron on the registry. And the conditions, like I said, could be autistic, even to some mental health diagnoses. There's some people that just have a lot of anxiety, and the uniform in the car sometimes amplify that. So they're on our registry. And the nice thing about that is when you do the registry, we give you these decals. The nice part about these decals is there's one for your home and there's one for vehicles because not all emergencies happen at the home, right?
Yep.
So as we're approaching, let's say a vehicle, these are reflective and it says right on it, vehicle alert. Somebody may be autistic, special needs, and may not respond appropriately, or again, I hate to use the term, but quote unquote normal. So we see these, it's an indicator for us to start changing our gears. We don't necessarily need this right away, but because first responders as a whole have really been training on what these signs and symptoms look like, that it's going to help us, and we can inquire on this information if we need to. But it also helps other first responder agencies because they may not have access to our form, but they can tailor their response just with that decal. So
is Port Huron the only agency in the St. Clair County that's doing this?
Yes.
Or do you have other departments working with you too?
Nope, we are the only, as far as I know, now something could be in the works that I'm not aware of, but we are the only one that has a disability alert registration in the county. Now there are other programs out there like Smart 911, there's those the LifeVac, or not LifeVac, sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now, the registration with EMS. But there is other programs in the county that have different types of registration for different things that are going on in the home. But
so yes. Tell us how Saturday's program is going to work and when and where.
So it's going to be at Pine Grove Park from 11 to 1. And registration, you just walk up to the Port Huron Police Department tent, that'll be up, and you'll fill out the form there. If you filled out the form in the past, we just ask you to update it. We do take a photo of you or your loved one just so we have reference of what they look like. This is very helpful in the event somebody hypothetically walks away or runs away. Having up-to-date information is key with that stuff. So there'll be registration at the event. Outside of that, we have almost 30 of our partner agencies coming, and they will bring services or any type of activities geared towards special needs or autistic individuals. So it could just be a fun activity to counseling services. There's some special needs summer camps that are coming. So really a whole lot of resources specifically geared to people that have varying conditions. So it's a fun day, and it's really a nice event where this community could come together and bounce resources and ideas off each other.
And that's the time too, you're asking the family too to bring their child or their other loved one come so they can have a chance to meet you in a non-threatening situation and where there's an emergency that's happening.
Exactly. So if somebody's in crisis, there's enough going on that we don't need to try to bring the fear down on top of the uniform or the vehicle. So having a controlled setting like this Saturday, we bring the vehicles, we turn the lights off, we turn the sirens off, we open the doors up, we show up in different uniforms, and we invite partner agencies in the county. So the Sheriff's Department, Border Patrol, MSP, the Fire Department, EMS. We bring all those different responders to the event because it's not always the police department, and it's not always my uniform you're gonna see. So if people see the uniforms, see the different colors, have the exposure based on their comfort, that if and when, God forbid, they have a situation, they won't be as intimidated or as fearful is the goal of the uniform and the vehicles.
Saturday, 11 to 1.
Saturday, 11 to 1, Pine Grove Park.
Very good. Officer Baker, we wish you well. We thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you for joining us on Spotlight.